The Great Gatsby, commonly considered to be one of the pinnacles of American literature. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it into a Doug thing because, yeah, hell yeah. I would say spoiler alert, but I don't care. I really like this book, and you really like Doug. If I can mesh the two things together and tell you all about The Great Gatsby, I am so taking that opportunity. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to the West Egg. That's gonna make sense in a second, but this is just the various characters. We have Nick Carraway. He is the narrator. It's all from his point of view. He's just hanging out, West Egg, about to get into a lot more detail about it in a second, but very rich neighborhood. He just kind of moved into a little cottage, which is really funny because it's directly next to Gatsby's just absolutely giant mansion. Great stuff. We have Daisy Buchanan, which is Nick's cousin. Now, Nick is a stockbroker. He moved to the West Egg so that, yeah, for business reasons, really. He could not pay attention to that because of Gatsby. Everything comes back to Gatsby. Um, but yes, they are cousins, so they hang out at the beginning. They are very close. Then there's Tom. I don't like Tom. I don't like him as a person, but I love him as a character. Uh, I hope that reminds you of someone. This is going exactly where you may suspect it's going, by the way, so, yeah. And Jay Gatsby. Woo! It's him! Also, you may have noticed the little footnote, Jordan Baker is a character, but I do not bring her up in this presentation at all. Because she's just not important to the point I'm trying to get across, and she's also just not super important to the book in general. So yeah, yay. The relationships, I like color coded it because I thought that could be useful. So as we can see, the three types of relationships are unhappily married, affair, and related. And only two of these people are related. Thank God. Holy shit, that would be terrible if they were married and related. But yeah, here we go. So we have Nick and Daisy. We've already established they are cousins. They are very close. Even though Nick did not move to the West Egg for Daisy, I think either the first night or one of the first nights he is there, he goes over to Daisy's house to have dinner. Now, Daisy is married to Tom Buchanan. Now, Tom is very, very, very rich. Canonically, he is one of the richest men in the entire world because his family is just exceedingly wealthy. We're going to get into this in a hot second, but Daisy did not want to marry Tom. So, they don't really want to be married, but they're doing it for looks, and also because honestly, appearances are the most important thing. Appearances are everything. Going off, we're not going to go to Gatsby just yet because there's two characters who are very important, but they're minor characters, so, they don't play a huge role. They're not main. So, you may have noticed this absolutely gorgeous woman in red. Her name is Myrtle Wilson. Now, Myrtle is married to Wilson. His name is not Wilson, as far as I know. He just doesn't have a first name, which I wanted this to be clear and concise, but oh my god, the fact that he doesn't even have a first name is, it's just so good. Oh, I don't think you understand how much I love that. It's just, he's so inhuman to people like Tom that he doesn't even deserve a first name. That's good. I like that. Myrtle hates her husband. There's literally no insight as to why they got married in the first place. Again, this is all from Nick's point of view, so he's not a mind reader. He doesn't know why they got married. He had never met them. Tom and Myrtle were already having their affair when he got to the West Egg. So yeah, we have no clue why she hates her husband, why they're married in the first place. We don't know. She's a little bit of a bitch. I like her. I think she's a good character. I don't like her as a person, but I like her as a character. So, yeah, Tom and her, wonderful, just terrible, terrible couple. Terrible people, terrible couple, wonderful characters. And then going back to Daisy, she is having an affair with Gatsby. Now, this is actually not present at the beginning, but we're going to get into that in a second. This is just generally so that you could get kind of an overview of, okay, who's who. And I can explain the characters better, and I can bring up the Wilsons. Yippee! It's plot time. So you may notice in the top green light symbolism. Yay. Because I am absolutely going into unnecessary detail. I love this book way too much. So the green light is a light on the end of the Buchanan's dock. If it is at the edge, no, it is at the end of the Buchanan's dock. Oh my god, I was like, wait, is it at the end of Gatsby's dock? Did I just forget? No. So the green light symbolizes what Gatsby cannot have. Gatsby lives directly across the lake from the Buchanans, and Gatsby really likes Daisy. But we're gonna get into that in a hot second, and I swear everything's gonna make a lot more sense because I can explain the plot. So, setting is the West Egg. The fact that it's the West Egg is not important. What is important is that it is an exceedingly wealthy area. Everyone in there is filthy rich. Like, as I mentioned, Tom Buchanan, canonically one of the most wealthiest families in the entire world. Well, probably America. Yeah, probably America. I don't know about the entire world. But yeah, it is in the 1920s, right before the stock market crash, which, oh my gosh, listen, I definitely prefer the book for reasons I will go into later because it comes up with one very important plot point. But oh my god, the film, oh my god, gorgeous shots, absolutely beautiful, beautiful costuming, beautiful places. I love the party so much. It's just because I really love 1920s, 1930s, but oh my god, absolutely gorgeous. Love the setting. As I already mentioned, this is all from Nick's point of view, who acts as a neutral friend to Gatsby. Now, Gatsby is the most well-known person in the entirety of the West Egg, and also I'm pretty sure this took place in New York. I'm really hoping it did. I couldn't find my book. I have no clue where it went. He's incredibly rich and constantly throws huge parties. And Gatsby befriends Nick to get closer to Daisy. I won't forget the car. I left that little note for me. So, you might be wondering, okay, wait, go back. Why does Gatsby throw these huge parties? Well, for the same reason Gatsby befriended Nick, it's to get close to Daisy. He threw all these parties in an attempt to lure Daisy into his house. Not in a creepy... Nah, honestly, it isn't a creepy way. He's madly in love with Daisy. We will get to the footnote right now. Actually, yeah, it makes sense if I go to it right now. I should clarify. Gatsby and Daisy dated before, but Gatsby went off to fight in the war, so she broke up with him because she was under a lot of pressure to marry rich, and she couldn't keep waiting. It is a huge theme in the book that Gatsby is stuck in the past. He expects everything to stay exactly the same after the war, even though everything has changed. Like, Daisy has, I wouldn't say developed as a person, but she has definitely slightly changed as a person. She's the same deep down, but It's also a great time to clarify, Daisy is a terrible person. Oh my god. She is so selfish, and that is so apparent with the ending, which I already told you the ending is, it's not a happy ending, but it is definitely the best ending we could have gotten. So we're going to go into why Daisy is so selfish later, because, we're going through this chronologically. So Nick helps Daisy and Gatsby to get together because, Gatsby is Gatsby. And you know what rich people do when they want you to like them? They give you things. I should know. I live in a neighborhood of very, very upper class people. Upper middle class, but still. So, Gatsby does a lot of things to get Nick on his side, as I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you caught this, but Nick lives in a little cottage right next to Gatsby's, and the cottage it's nice, it's very cute, but it's not very well kept. I couldn't find a picture, and by couldn't find, I mean I forgot to look up a picture, and I just said couldn't find because, yeah, I didn't look up a picture, but it looks very nice, overgrown. But Gatsby just hires a bunch of people to totally overturn his lawn, make it just the most gorgeous place he can. It's really something. He does this with quite a few things. And we're going with the car in just a few seconds, because I do want to say, after he helps Daisy and Gatsby get together, he has them at their cottage, which, beautiful scene in the movie. He leaves for a hot second. Yeah, I should clarify. Gatsby leaves for a hot second. Then then he comes back because Nick says you can't walk home in the rain because it's downpouring. And yeah, then Nick leaves. He doesn't really go anywhere. He sits under a tree. He just hides. But yeah, he goes back in. They're having an affair. They don't even notice he comes in the house, which is extremely funny to me. It's really dumb, but oh my gosh, the fact that they're so lost in each other that just, they don't even realize that he came back in the house. Dude, it is a good scene. But yes. Oh, hold on, intermission. There is someone outside my bedroom door. It's my father. I can't restart the recording now. I'm just gonna keep going. So, the car. Pretty important. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. Come on in. I'm recording. I'm recording something. Okay, can I love you too? Okay. Alright. He's tiptoeing. What a guy. Goodbye. Run! Run! Go! Bye, I love you. My father is a wonderful man. He's a great specimen, just like you. Interruption aside, the car. Now, oh shucks, what does he do? Right, okay. Oh, I almost mixed it up with another event. So, one of the other things that Gatsby does to get closer to Nick is that he takes him out in just this gorgeous yellow car. Like, I love yellow. I love old cars. Put them together. And either way, it is just a beautiful model. And I'll show you it in a second. But yeah, he gets Nick and they go to this club. Now, this is, again, as I mentioned, during the stock market crash and right before the stock market crash. And if you know anything about history, Prohibition was going on. And so, like, you know, alcohol isn't allowed, but these are a bunch of rich people. What do you expect is going to happen? They're gonna get alcohol. And one of the things that Gatsby does, takes him out in this just beautiful car. Everyone knows it's Gatsby's, which is incredibly important to the plot. Everybody knows that car is Gatsby's. And he takes him to what seems like a diner. But there is an underground thing. In the movie, it was extremely awkward. A lot of things are extremely awkward. I'm getting a lot of memories. I didn't plan this out. There's no script, obviously. I'm going to go on a little tangent as soon as I finish up this part of the plot. But yeah, Gatsby takes Nick to this club. They go underground. There's alcohol. And now for the awkward fun times in my English class last year. So, the funniest part about, like, this scene, when you're watching it in front of a class, this movie is not shy about sex at all. And it's really, really funny when it's just a bunch of 10th graders all piled in a room and your teacher is trying to talk over, like, very clearly what is a sex scene. It's not, like, on screen. This one, the one I'm talking about, isn't. The other one is, except it's not explicit. Just your teacher trying to talk over all these kids who are like, there's very clearly sex going on in the other room. Miss Weaver, we know what's happening. Please, just stop talking. We know they're having sexual intercourse. So yeah, that was my fun little tangent. And yeah, you remember how I said I was going to show you the car? Yeah, so you know how Doug's in the corner? I figured, yeah, I don't want to leave this place completely blank. I mean, that would be quite boring. So Doug's been in the corner because you are very easy to entertain. You're like a hamster on a wheel. I could put Doug in front of you and you'd run on the wheel, not realizing you were on the wheel, just trying to get the Doug. You'd probably do that until you die, honestly. Anyways, so you want to see the car? That is a stupid joke. I wish it worked better. But yeah, Doug just got hit by a car. Oh no, this is foreshadowing. Alright, next time, things start going downhill. We're gonna go really quick after this because I don't want to take up too much time. I already have because this is not organized and I keep going on tangents. No, I'm not gonna listen to this before I publish it and send it to you. So, things start going downhill. Turns out having an affair isn't always the best idea. I could tell you that, my guy. Oh my god, it never works out, both in books and real life. Now, at this point in the book, after Gatsby and Daisy start having their affair, we start to realize that Daisy isn't the best person. Like, she's very selfish. And Nick realized this about Nick realized this about Daisy and was always telling Gatsby, listen, no, dude, I get that you love her, but she has a family. Daisy has a kid, which is, like, brought up in one scene at the beginning and at the very end. And it's just never talked about, which is insane. She has a kid. It's just never talked about. She showed up twice in the movie. It's insane. But, like, we realize, okay, Daisy isn't the best person because of this scene. We are in a hotel now. Tom has always had his suspicions ever since, like, Gatsby and Daisy started getting together, like, just hanging out more often. There's something between these two. Now, here's the thing. Tom, despite being, like, a terrible person, I didn't say this beforehand. I might have. I might have forgotten. He's absolutely terrible person. He's having an affair. He's super racist. And just, like, overall, a horrible, horrible person. And, like, he's scary. He could really hurt someone. So I can't zoom in, unfortunately, but really look at that image. Tom's the focal point. Nick is standing awkwardly in the corner. I don't see Jordan in that image, which is good because she wasn't a part of this. Daisy and Gatsby right next to each other. Everyone's anxious because they were not going to go into the town. Everyone was at dinner. No, not dinner. My bad. Everyone was at lunch. They were all not having the best time. Because Daisy says this line to Gatsby, and it is literally said in the book that she just told him that she loved him. You're so cool. You're always so cool. Just the way... Oh my god, hold on. Oh, I just realized something even great. I realized something even better. Okay. Sick. So Daisy smokes. Sorry, I threw off the tone there. Daisy smokes, right? And Gatsby helps her with her lighter, and that's when she says the line, and Tom, oh my god, both in the book and in the film, you can tell that Tom has put it together, and Tom isn't the kind of person who is going to outright fight you. He wants you to suffer. And oh my god, dude, it's such a good scene. I love this scene so much. It's just... Sorry, I'm like, I love this scene so much. It's so good. Especially just the screenshot. It's so good. And now they're all in a hotel. And Gatsby has been wanting Daisy to leave Tom once and for all. He promises her, we could have such a happy life together. And at this hotel, Tom confronts them. And things go really bad. Really, really, really bad. Because Daisy, despite professing her love for Gatsby, cannot admit that she never loved Tom. Because Daisy did love Tom at some point. And Gatsby can't believe that. It's impossible for him to comprehend that Daisy loved both him and Tom. And, Gatsby starts freaking out. Gatsby loses his cool. Literally, first time, the entire story, he loses it. And Daisy is scared. And oh my god, oh my god. It's so beautiful because you can see just Gatsby realizing, oh my god, I've lost her, as soon as he, loses his temper, because he was already, pushing her, leave Tom, I would be so much better for you, and she didn't want to, she didn't necessarily want to, because she did love Tom, she didn't want to say that she didn't, and Tom is also pushing her, not even at this place, not even when we did this together, and it's really hard for Daisy. And oh my god, it's such a good scene because Gatsby really does realize, oh my god, I've actually lost her. And Tom realizes that he's lost her, which, oh, this sick bastard, he is a horrible person. And he says, okay, me, Nick, and Jordan, because Jordan was there with them, will all drive back in my car. Daisy and Gatsby, you can go back in Gatsby's car. And this leads to, I think, the best plot point in the entire book. Because it's like the climax. And it's really good. But it's also really funny. Because guess what? Daisy commits vehicular manslaughter. I'm not kidding. So, I said I wasn't gonna laugh, but it's really hard not to. So Daisy commits vehicular manslaughter. As you can see, there's Myrtle Wilson about to be hit by the car. How did we get here? Well, it's a funny story. So, here's the thing. I didn't go too into this, but Myrtle has been having an affair for a good while, and Wilson really does suspect something. And you can't see it here, but she is wearing these pearls that Tom got her. And Wilson sees these pearls. And that just kind of like sets something off in him because he knows there's no way that Myrtle just got the pearls. There's no way that a friend just gave them to her. There had to be a guy who gave her such an expensive present, and it just clicks in his head like there is an affair going on. And Wilson, who has been mistreated the entire movie, which I'm not trying to defend his actions here, but, like, you can understand, like, what made him snap. Just fucking loses it. He loses it, dude. Like, he's like, oh, I kind of want to edit the scene in here. I won't, but oh my gosh, it's so good. Like, he's like holding the pearls up. He's like grabbing her, I think, by her collar and saying like, who is it? Who's having an affair? And she's scared because, I mean, who wouldn't be? And like, and Myrtle, she's trapped upstairs in Wilson's garage because I don't think I mentioned this before. Wilson is a mechanic. That's why she sorry, I just like tapped the microphone. That's why she recognizes that, that's why she recognizes Gatsby's car. Now you might be saying, how did she get out here? Oh, and this is the good part. Tom was driving the car to the hotel. Myrtle saw that he was driving the car. And here's my favorite little part about this. My favorite little part. When she saw Tom, he had been driving Nick and Jordan. And the reason I brought up Jordan earlier was because of this specific plot point. Myrtle saw Jordan and thought that was his wife. Which, oh, that is so good. That is so good. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm like, happy stim. It's just the fact that she saw Tom driving the car, thought it was Tom, and just ran out in the street, hoping, just, she was scared, she didn't want to be with Wilson anymore, and Tom, she knew he was a bad person, but she felt safe with him, and it wasn't Tom, and Tom, already realizing that he is losing Daisy, like, while he was driving to the hotel, he realized he's losing Daisy. That's why he ended up confronting Gatsby and Daisy, because he was like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my wife to this guy? Man. And, like, he realized, like, when he was driving the car, oh my god, I'm gonna lose Myrtle too because Myrtle thinks that's my wife. Oh, that's such a good plot point. I really like this book, if you can't tell. I've been, like, trying to slow myself down and not get overly excited. But, I've been happy stimming, like, this entire time. But, going back to this, yeah, Daisy commits vehicular manslaughter. And, brief interlude. Here's some of my favorite images of Myrtle getting hit. Uh, um, uh, okay, I haven't explained my motives, but I feel like the couple goals thing, it might explain to you what I'm planning. So, honestly, I think Myrtle looks very pretty. Like, the first image with, like, the cut very visible on her head, like, ooh, oh, she's pretty. But, like, you can see, like, she was really riled up. Like, she was scared of Wilson. And, fun fact, like, I already said this before, but we never get to know, like, what was Wilson like as a husband? Was this, like, a one-off incident? Was he constantly abusive? Like, we don't know, because it's from Nick's point of view. And the reason Nick knows that, ooh, I haven't said that yet. Hold on. So, I'm gonna finish up with my Myrtle compilation here, because I like Myrtle as a character, but, God, it's a little sad. But in the film, it was so funny when she got hit. Like, it looked so dumb. A lot of people in my class giggled, because I already mentioned this, but we were watching it as a class, like, a lot of us were just giggling when this happened, because it looked so dumb. And then there's Daisy and Gatsby, you know, being all cute, couple goals, ignore the parentheses, and also there was white space, so I just found that cute little thing. Back to the plot, I guess we can go away from Myrtle. Things don't get better. Because, you see, Tom ends up talking to Wilson. Because Tom, in driving his car, was behind Gatsby. And Tom sees everyone, like, at Wilson's shop, and he's like, oh, I wonder what happened. Like, he's making remarks, like, oh, I bet that fucking weirdo's up to something. But then he realizes there's a body. And, oh, that's like one of the moments where we can see genuine emotion from Tom, which is so good. Like, he feels things, and, like, it's so good. Like, he sees her body. And it's so good. Now you might notice I have something written here. Tom talks to Wilson and Gaslight Gatekeep girl bosses him. Yeah, Tom girl bossed Wilson a little bit too hard, and now we have a murder-suicide going on. Because Wilson's wife is dead. That's Gatsby's car. Everyone knows it's Gatsby's car, so we assume, yeah, Gatsby was driving the car. Spoiler alert, Daisy was driving the car. Daisy was not supposed to be driving the car, and Gatsby was fully ready to say, nope, it was me. Daisy didn't do anything, because he really does think of her like a goddess, and it's so fun to just, but yeah, Tom girlbossed Wilson just a bit too hard, and Wilson shot Gatsby in his pool before shooting himself. Because he really had nothing to live for. He really thought that Gatsby killed his wife, so he was like, nah, screw it, why not? He was in a silly, goofy mood, one could say. But yeah. Gatsby's dead. And, I mean, Daisy moves with Tom away from the West Egg because they don't want to live there anymore. And that's the end. Gatsby dies. Daisy is still with Tom. Myrtle and Wilson are both dead. Yeah, I really like this story. Also, oops. I tried to cut out a lot of things. I didn't go into a whole lot of detail. I could have gone into a lot more detail, but this is already long enough as it is. Pardon me. I had to restart. Not from the beginning, but, I had to restart at one point because I accidentally clicked to the next slide. And, yeah. I mean, just... It looks like it's gonna be 30 minutes long. So I just wanted to keep it shorter. So, yeah. You knew where this was going. You knew where this was going. How does this tie into Doug? I think you know who's Gatsby. You know who's Daisy. You know who's Tom. You know who's Myrtle. As much as I love Zoe, she's gonna get hit by a car. Charlotte's gonna hit Zoe with a car. Oh no. But yeah, we have that. I actually don't have a nick. Fun fact. I just haven't thought of someone like I don't know. I feel like because I haven't watched Nightmare Time, which is why I'm talking to you about it. Because you have seen Nightmare Time, you can give me input. So I don't know. I don't have a Nick. I don't have a Wilson, just yet. Just yet. Just yet. But yeah, Great Gatsby time. It's Great Gatsby time. If I think of anything else, I will type it. But yeah, sorry, this is extremely incohesive and rambly, but it was fun. I'm so sorry this took so long. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for coming to my presentation. Simmer in angst and heartbreak, you absolute earthworm of a human.